listening to the Marketing and Yoga Pants podcast, a podcast in sisterhood for female entrepreneurs that serves up savvy, actionable marketing advice and interviews with creative business owners who are in the trenches, building their businesses as we speak. The Marketing and Yoga Pants community is for you, the girl on her couch, in her yoga pants, top knot tight, hunched over her MacBook, trying her hardest to get the word out about her business. So in the name of supporting each other while supporting ourselves, bringing community, sound marketing advice, coffee, chocolate, and wine together for you, yoga pants wearing business owner, in a world where followers mean nothing, but paying customers mean the world, join us on this week's podcast episode and in our private Facebook group where you'll meet your soul sisters and build your business in yoga pants. Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing and Yoga Pants podcast. I'm Brit and I'm here today with Kyrsten Sherwood, founder of the Modern Conference and Launch Brand Grow Community. Kyrsten, thank you so much for joining me today.
I am so excited to be here again.
Yeah. So that, segues right in. You might know Kyrsten already if you've listened to past podcast episodes. I had her on, probably 6 months or so ago, maybe even longer. I'm not sure. And we did the traditional interview that I usually do, flowing through the normal questions. Now I've brought Kyrsten back onto the show because her companies have shifted. They've gone through some beautiful stages of growth and adjustments and tweaks. And I've been along for the ride as a consumer, as a customer in there, just watching everything happen. And I super dig it. I big time dig it. I was thrilled to have Kyrsten be up for another interview because I want to dive into how her businesses have changed in the last year, what we can expect from her moving forward. And then we're going to really deep dive into what she's doing now, because I think that what she's doing now is going to help some of you big time. And we're actually going to talk a little strategy in there too. So, all right, after all that, Kyrsten, are you ready to rock and roll?
I am so ready. I'm really excited. This is like one of my favorite topics, especially lately. So I'm super pumped to dig in.
Okay, let's do this. All right. So just give us some background. Fill us in what's been going on, what has shifted in your business.
Okay. So I'm trying to remember where we were even at in the last interview that we did. I feel like if I remember right, we were in this really awkward transition period where we were kind of moving from Copper Kettle Co, which was our brand and web design, into the Launch Brand Grow, which is our community. And even the Launch Brand Grow is kind of having these weird growing pains, alignment issues and stuff. And now where we're at is we actually officially retired Copper Kettle Co, which I know with marketing personalities and all of your alignment stuff, it felt so good to just officially drop it. Even though it was always our business baby and stuff. It's just so freeing to get rid of that baggage of, it kind of brought a lot of guilt and stuff. So anyway, so we officially dropped Copper Kettle Co. And now we are the Launch Brand Grow Community and the Modern Conference. And I know today we're going to talk about the Modern Conference and summits and hosting your own online conference. And so that's where we've been really putting a lot of our energy towards, is helping other people to start conferences and virtual summits online, and also to really put people forward in our Launch Brand Grow community. And the alignment here has just been so much more in sync. And yeah, I'm just really digging it. So much better place.
Yeah. So you essentially went from a web design agency model to building a virtual community for creative entrepreneurs. And now you are building this thing called the Modern Conference, which will help all of us in hosting our own virtual summits. Is that an accurate summary?
Yes, exactly. And then we're also hosting our own summits on top of that. So to really push that educational aspect. So yes, exactly right.
And I appreciate the transparency within that, you know what, some of it feels good to let go of. Some of it feels good to tweak and adjust. And some of it, I mean, I think probably all of it can feel really messy at times. I definitely understand that. I think some people who are business owners, entrepreneurs, freelancers, they know how to do something really, really well and they stick to it for a super long time. And that's just how they do things. And then there are people like you and I who are constantly trying different things, picking up on different trends and adjusting based on what feels more aligned, and we're open to those changes. It's not like either one of those situations is better overall. It's not like if you're not changing, you're, dead, or if it's not like, I don't know, if you're changing too much or doing something wrong. Neither one is wrong. It seems like some people go one way, some people go the other way. And you and I, sister, tend to be, shifting and changing and adapting and finding newer, cooler things to do and ways to serve. So I get the mess. I totally get the mess. Yeah.
And it was like real messy. So
but
for a long time.
Yeah, but as you said, in an effort to serve the people you feel called to serve in a better way and feel more aligned with your life's purpose. Is that right? Does that feel right?
Yes. Oh yeah. That's why I personally love marketing personalities so much, and why I like pimp you out everywhere because it's so important, at least for me. And I know, yeah, exactly. You're the same exact way, that it's really, really important to make sure that you're aligned with what you're doing, because people feed off of your enthusiasm. And if you're not enthusiastic about something, then they're going to, sense that. So yes, it's been a journey, and I'm excited for where we're at now, for sure.
Awesome. So real quick, before we get on to the Modern Conference, can you tell us a little bit about Launch Brand Grow Community and what that's all about? Because I don't want to skip over that goodness, because it's good. And then we can jump into, okay, then how did the Modern Conference come in? So tell us about Launch Brand Grow.
Totally. So the Launch Brand Grow is, again, it's our membership community. And basically what we have here is, it started out as a community just like everybody else's on the internet, which was, kind of like this community of creative entrepreneurs. We had workshops, and I led a lot of the workshops. And as a serial entrepreneur, I have a lot of experience in a lot of different fields. So it felt like it might be a good idea at the time. But what I found really quickly was that the burnout there, and like how much pressure it put on me to be that person there. And so I don't know, I am just not a spotlight person. That there are lots of other communities out there that have really amazing leaders who just flourish in that atmosphere. But for me, it was like, no, this isn't working. So what we've ended up doing with it, and what is now, is that the Launch Brand Grow is a membership community where the members themselves are the leaders. That we have, each month we have a different leader, and that leader talks about their specialty. Maybe somebody is a brand specialist, and they will spend the entire month basically kind of hosting this mastermind with the members, where they talk about everything branding, and they help people audit their brands, and they do hot seats so that people can talk to that particular expert one-on-one. And what we're really excited about with it is that not only does it help the community as a whole, you get like all of these different topics, but it helps the speaker or the leader of the month to become that expert in their field. And it really takes a lot of pressure off of me as a person who is much more of an organizer and I guess maybe a visionary, rather than, I don't know, I'm introverted. I don't like showing up on video every week or every couple weeks or however often. So it's been a really cool model, and we're like just starting to dig into this model. So I'm sure we'll be working out some kinks here, but I don't know. I'm just feeling so aligned with it, and like it's going to be a really awesome aspect and an awesome way to connect what we're doing with these summits as well. So yeah, that's kind of the Launch Brand Grow in a nutshell.
Right. And I came to know Launch Brand Grow. Well, I knew you when it was all about Copper Kettle Co. And then that morphed into Launch Brand Grow. So that community sounds so aligned. And then now I'm curious, I'm sure we're all curious, where does the Modern Conference come in? What is it, and how did that get sparked?
Yeah. So back probably around when we were talking the last time that I was on the podcast, we were kind of floundering around trying to figure out where this alignment was and like what would really feel good for us. And one of the noodles that we threw at the wall to see if it would stick was hosting a virtual summit or an online conference. And at the time, it was a huge, huge, huge success, like way bigger than I thought it was going to be. We set like a monetary goal of $5,000 and we ended up with $24,000 in revenue. I was hoping for, I don't know, 300 or something like that. Email signups, we ended up with 2,500. And the community that came from that was just incredible. And actually, that was where the Launch Brand Growth started. So actually, our first conference was the first step towards Launch Brand Growth community. And so, which now that I'm regurgitating this is actually kind of interesting to think about. But anyway, so the first conference that we did, it was an amazing success, but it was also a huge undertaking. It was incredibly stressful. It was a lot of plate spinning. I mean, it was our very first conference, and with the success came a lot of responsibility and stuff. So it was really tough. And at the end of it, I was like, okay, we're never doing this again. It was really cool and we made a lot of money, but like, man, it was way too much. And so we ended up being in this kind of funky, weird space in our business. We ended up needing money. So we were like, well, maybe we should do another conference. It was actually kind of fun in hindsight and like, let's do it again. And so we did our second one, and our second one went a lot better, but still was really chaotic, mostly because we didn't have any systems in place for our first one. And we didn't like record or like set up systems for the next one. So it was kind of like doing that whole messy experience again, but also actually trying to write down all of the things that we were doing. That one was also really successful. I think we ended up with 18,000 in revenue and another 2,500 people on our email list. And again, the community growth from that was amazing. And that one, again, it was like, okay, we're not doing this again. It was too hard. But then just recently, this last September, we decided to do our third one. And I don't even remember what sparked it, but something kind of hit me that with the Launch Brand Grow, the way that it was evolving, and with the modern conference, or with our conference experiences, and actually probably with marketing personalities, it kind of dawned on me that I really enjoy being the person who organizes things and has a lot of spinning plates and who likes to organize these kinds of things. But most importantly, that I don't like being in spotlight. I like spotlighting other people. And both the Launch Brand Grow community and the modern conference, or the conferences that we were putting on, were doing that exact thing. And so we hosted our third one. And with the third one, I had a really strict goal of, okay, this is going to be something that we do regularly. It's something that's lucrative for us. It's something that helps our community like crazy. I love being able to put speakers in the spotlight. I love a lot of the aspects of it. The only thing that I didn't like before was just how many like trying to do this thing without systems. And so that's kind of how the modern conference has come around, is that I've found that if I have these systems in place, hosting these summits really aren't that hard. It's just when you have no idea where to start, or are like totally, unorganized, or, that kind of stuff, that really makes it difficult. So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to systemize with people and to make this a really easy thing, but also a huge community building a thing, because we know that the virtual summit industry as it is also kind of, I think we've been doing things a little bit differently than the traditional virtual summit is, if that makes sense. I don't know. That was a big ramble. But anyway.
Nope, I'm following. Okay. So you got your hands dirty. You tried it out. You did it 3 different times. By the third time, you're like, wait, I got this down. This one checked all the boxes, right? Like made money, helped everyone involved, and I didn't lose my mind. And so then, just like a good serial entrepreneur would do, say, oh, I have an asset here. I can make this a thing, right? And so now through Modern Conference, you're helping all of us with hosting our own virtual conferences, right? So makes so much sense. And I respect that for sure, because I know that you've gotten in there and you figured it out, and your team has figured it out, and you're already helping people host their own, which is awesome. So I want to speak for a second to the listener who's thinking, okay, like I see how this can work in the creative entrepreneur, online entrepreneur, digital space for those types of people, especially for like B2B people. Like you can see that because you've seen it done, right? You probably have seen it done before. But I'm sure there's a listener out there right now who's thinking, okay, that's cool for that industry, but I'm in this other very different industry and a virtual summit probably would never work. I want to tell you right now, I want to, well, not tell you, I want to encourage you to open up your mind a little bit and realize that this could really be applied now as I've been a part of a few and as I've watched Kyrsten create and help others create these things. I encourage you to open up your mind and consider this to be a possibility if it feels aligned with your personality type. And now I'll also speak to that a little bit as well. Kyrsten, remind me, are you an INFP?
Yeah, I toggle between INFJ and INFP, but I think right now INFP, yeah.
Yes, kind of a blend. I totally get that. So that makes a lot of sense because just like you said, if you don't necessarily want to be in the spotlight, you're all about kind of sharing the wealth, if you will. And that happens within a summit like this, which will explain how that happens. I also see natural gatherers of people being great at this. So that to me, off the top of my head, that covers ENFPs, natural hosts and mentors. ESTJs, they are the executive. They're great at creating affiliate programs and bringing people together and leading them to a common goal. Also, ESFJs, they're the natural friend. They're really great at bringing friends together. The ESFJ, they might need to outsource some of the technical stuff, but they can definitely bring a crowd together. So, and I'm sure, you guys know these are all trends. These are not rules. If I did not just list your personality type and you're still like, but I really want to do a virtual summit, I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying off the top of my head, being the marketing personality expert, those three really stand out to me along with the INFP that Kyrsten is. So open up your mind to that. And I want to understand now, I want to dig in to understand how this virtual conference benefits you as the business owner and everyone else involved, because you're the business owner, you're organizing. Then you've got speakers coming in and you've got consumers coming in, getting info from the speaker. So tell me how that all kind of comes together and how everyone benefits.
Yeah. So I have a blog post on this on the Modern Conference. A lot of this stuff, if you guys are interested, we have tons of resources and are filling it up in themodernconference.com. But one of my favorite parts about hosting these online conferences is how truly collaborative they are and how people, like everybody involved, really, really benefits. So one of the ways basically as a host that you benefit is through what we've talked about, through kind of the monetary things or, aspect, and also the email list growth, but also through networking with the speakers. And I mean, even like if you want to get really kind of weird about it, even just the mindset of like feeling like you can actually reach out to people who you've been inspired by over the years, it really just kind of grows your confidence a little bit as a business owner in that regard too. But growing a community, that's been our biggest and most fulfilling part of being a host, is seeing everybody come together because of your organization. It's really, really amazing. So I'd say those are the main host benefits. The main speaker benefits, as far as speakers go, there are lots of benefits for the speakers too. And even though we don't pay them monetarily, we would love to in the future, or some other business models might really work out well with paying them monetarily. What we choose to focus on is the collaboration aspect and the fact that what we're doing is we're bringing all of these people together, putting them all in the spotlight, really encouraging this community aspect. And yeah, as far as that goes, that's kind of like one of the bigger features. We really try to put the smaller or lesser known businesses up alongside the bigger and more, like traffic incoming speakers as well. And then speakers also get email signups for their own individual freebie signups. They also get affiliate commissions. And then we like to treat our speakers with gifts and stuff. So there's lots of different ways that they benefit. And then as far as attendees go, obviously they get like this giant free conference that they don't have to pay anything for. The All Access Pass, if they do want to have lifetime access to it, is very low priced. And again, the community and networking aspect for everybody involved is just really, really lucrative. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, I've been a speaker at a couple summits. And of course, I've also been an attendee at those summits too. And I'm speaking on my topic, but then there are other people that I want to learn from. And I definitely, in my experience, a summit is a great opportunity for me to get in front of a new-ish audience. There's usually some overlap, right? A new audience. And for me, as an ENFJ, and if you're a personality who loves to get up in front and instruct / entertain, anything like that, you might not necessarily be hosting a virtual summit, but you might consider speaking at one. It brings great traffic to the website as long as you send them to the right place, to a very specific place. Email list grows through that traffic, again, as long as you're leading them there. And there's a really great trust built because they get to learn from you. You're essentially giving them an entire hour training. They're learning from you, a huge value. And then they become part of your circle too. And then as the attendee, oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, I love it. I do like to go to a few in-person events a year, but when I can supplement that with the ability to stay in my yoga pants and still learn all week long, obviously that's pretty great, right? That definitely beneficial. So the speakers can earn an affiliate revenue because they are then, once they're a speaker, they're given an affiliate link, and then they can tell their audience that the summit is happening, invite them in. If their audience clicks their link and then makes a purchase through that, then they get a little affiliate kickback. But we haven't really talked about how you monetize this. What the heck are they purchasing, right? Because this is a free virtual conference. What do they then purchase?
Yeah, totally. And actually, to touch back on what you had just said too about the community, one of the things that, and like the online conference space versus the in-person conference space, is that the modern conference, that is like our main goal, is to kind of mesh, like really, really mesh the two together so that you have way more networking and community building aspects within the virtual summit space like you would get in an in-person conference. But you also have the free ticket. You have you don't have to worry about travel arrangements. You don't have to worry about actually getting all dressed up, which, this is fun sometimes. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to touch on that and say that's really where I want the new kind of conference space to go.
That's really exciting. That's smart.
Yeah, I think so. We've found a lot of success with it so far. So I think it's a good idea. Yes. But as far as making money at these summits, yes. So like I said earlier, our first summit brought in $24,000 in revenue, which is just still to this day blows my mind. But I mean, we've reproduced it multiple times and it's roughly the same every time now. And basically the ways to do this, and we have a blog post that actually breaks down all of the numbers to the penny. So if you guys want to go check that out, I'll make sure that we have a link in our show notes for that. But basically, what we sell at the summit is this thing called the All Access Pass, or a VIP pass, where basically for free, you can come to the summit, watch the presentations for 24 hours, download all of the speakers' freebies during that time. But if you want to have access to it forever, then you can buy the All Access Pass, which is, for us, it's between $49 and $99 or something like that throughout the summit process. And so it's a really low priced, quote unquote, ticket for this information that we really, really vet the quality for. Again, we really try to make it as in-person conference as possible as far as quality goes. So you can buy this little All Access Pass. We have sponsors, we have affiliate programs that we monetize throughout the summit. And we also have an upsell at the end of the summit as well. So those are kind of the different ways to monetize. As far as affiliates go, for the speakers and just general audience affiliates, yes, they get a portion of that All Access Pass proceeds. And we've had people who have earned, almost $1,000 just from marketing the All Access Pass themselves. So it's been a really cool, again, collaboration as far as all that goes.
Yeah, which is your love language, I feel like. Come together, work together, let's do this together. Yes. So that gives us a nice taste of how money is brought in through this essentially free event. I mean, an attendee can still attend completely for free. And then for all of us who are super busy but still want to make sure that we get every drop of juice out of this thing, that All Access Pass is so accessible and affordable, and we have lifetime access to the speakers. Huge value there. Makes a ton of sense. On top of the sponsorships and affiliate links, so smart to break all of this down for us. So I'm definitely going to link to probably several of your blog posts, but definitely the blog post about the breakdown of revenue that's coming in, exactly where that's coming in from. Now, a couple things as you were explaining that, I want to know from your standpoint how you use your summits. Obviously, this is a revenue generator for your business. And then do you see a ripple effect after you host a summit to the rest of your offerings? Or does it kind of stay in its own silo, it makes its money, and then you go back to kind of business as usual?
Oh, no. Yes, totally ripple effect. And this is one of the tips that I would give to anybody hosting their own summit. I know that you had talked about earlier, what if you're in an industry where it's like, I'm a photographer or I'm a soap maker. We also have this parenting blog that we're just launching. And we're actually planning on doing a summit in the parenting space as well. So like, what if you're a business owner that doesn't work with other business owners? This is actually a really amazing part about these virtual summits, is that what we really encourage you to do is we encourage you to have the summit be a topic that is relevant to your business, obviously, but to set yourself as the expert in that field and to really remember that all of the people who are signing up for the summit themselves are signing up for your email list, which means that any kind of marketing that you do to your email list after the fact is going to be from you. So it's your funnels and your general marketing strategy as well. One of the things that I really try to encourage is to really make sure that your summit is very niched down and very targeted, or very has a very specific takeaway. So again, if you're a photographer, maybe you would run a summit on something like, planning your wedding. And so one of the aspects of planning your wedding is photography. And so having maybe a full day on how to make the most out of your wedding photography experience, where you have different speakers talking about, how to set up a Pinterest board in a way that makes it actually easy for your photographer to get all of those shots, or how to trust your photographer with the different aspects of your wedding day, and the detailed designs, how to prep those kinds of things. Anyway, so you have a full day on that. And then you have days on other aspects of the wedding planning so that your audience gets a lot of really, really amazing education out of the summit as a whole. But again, your upsell will end up being towards this, maybe service or a package deal, maybe a course that you have that's specifically on setting up your wedding day for your photographer, that kind of thing, so that anybody can buy it. And they're already primed for it. So as far as that goes, yes, absolutely. We get huge ripple effects as far as buying the products or the more passive upsells after the summit, as well as just the All Access Pass, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. So there's the potential for that ripple effect. I'm seeing at the time of this recording, the Abigail and Emily of Think Creative Collective just wrapped up their Boss Project Summit that I was a part of, and I know you were a part of as well. And I'm noticing, I was curious to see what would happen after that, because it was just so massive. And then I wondered, because I think those two are really great at strategizing and going on to the next thing that makes sense for their audience. And I've been noticing just a week after the summit, they're now talking a lot about their virtual club, right? Their virtual community that's going to help them, now that they've taken in all of this information, actually set goals and reach them And it's a really great time because we're here at the end of 2018, moving into 2019, and everyone's getting kind of whacked in the face with the reality that they didn't hit all their goals for the year, right?
Right.
And I've been noticing that is how now that's what they're talking about right after the summit. I'm like, so brilliant, right? So this summit surge now ripples into whatever offering you have thereafter. And so it kind of works in both ways. It markets your core business. It can market your core business and generate revenue as it's doing that, which is, I mean, that's a nice little system. I don't know. I don't know what's better than that. And I also want to hit on, Kyrsten, I know you've done summits that are 4 or 5 days long. I've seen other ones that are, take up an entire week, but could you do a smaller one, like a smaller scale, and still have it be a revenue generator and a marketer for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's actually one of the things that we're really excited to, or that I'm really excited to kind of focus on once we get these bigger systems in place for our like template shop and stuff, is how to host, because I know this is like a huge pain point for a lot of people. Almost everybody I talk to is like, yeah, I guess I'd kind of consider hosting a conference, like an online conference, but it's just too much. It's too big. And so what we want to focus on is how to host those smaller, like, quote unquote, online conferences so that they still maximize revenue, maximize marketing potential, maximize, that energy and that community building, but aren't nearly as, as big of a deal as this big online conference is. So yes, totally. I personally suggest doing something like 1-day events where you still have, maybe 8 speakers or 10 speakers even, and have it feel like a really big intensive, rather than if you're going to have a smaller amount of speakers, dragging it out multiple days can really actually lose a lot of that momentum that these bigger conferences get. So yeah, as far as that goes, absolutely. Having smaller ones is totally possible. It's just a matter of, again, just making sure that you're being strategic about it and benefiting off of the momentum and the enthusiasm and all of that as well.
Right. Yeah. And as you say that, I can imagine, like, again, if you're not doing B2B, you don't have a B2B model and you're working with people who aren't business owners, okay, so obviously the obvious barrier comes up. Well, they work day jobs. So how am I going to host a summit? Well, I can see doing like a miniature version of this, having one talk an evening for a few days, or even like a weekend summit for the people that have lots going on during the week. So lots of ways to tweak and adjust and play and make it aligned with how you want to do business and what your audience needs. So cool. So many little levers to pull. I can kind of just feel it right now. There are some definite listeners that are like, all right, I need to dig in here. I think this sounds super cool. I think I want to bring this to my audience and to my network this coming year. We all need to know, where do we go to get the good stuff that you have at the Modern Conference? Where do they go to get started?
Totally. So we actually have this huge, it's just like giant at this point, free resource library at themodernconference.com. And so I encourage you to go there, download everything. We have a bunch of workbooks. I have all of these podcast episodes in one place, so you don't have to try to like find them all over the place on iTunes. So yeah, the free resource library, that's a huge one for us. And then we also have templates there. We have all of our blog posts that we're working on booking up. That is the biggest place. And then on top of that, Instagram. We're just now starting up our Instagram account. So hopefully by the time that you guys come and explore, we'll have more information and goodies over there. But absolutely, themodernconference.com and Instagram at themodernconference.
Awesome. Okay. I'm pumped. I'm pumped about this. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't see myself hosting a virtual summit. It's just not for me. But I will say right now, I love the momentum of being involved in them. The thought of seeing you, watching you help people in our industry and outside of our industry create these types of things so other people can feel this momentum and this confidence that comes about after you've learned some stuff and you can put it into play. and not have to deal with all the travel headaches and the introverted tendencies we all have, no matter how extroverted we are. All of that, just to know that that's going to be out there and that it's being shared with my awesome, loyal audience here at Marketing in Yoga Pants. I'm really pumped to see what happens in 2019 with this, because I just know it's good. It's good for all of us. So Kyrsten, thank you so much for all of this info. And you heard her, girls. Go to themodernconference.com and find her on Instagram. And of course, she's going to be popping into our private Facebook group over the next few days. So if you have any questions for her, she's in there. She's in there right now. So go over there and we'll see you super soon. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. Keep the conversation going by visiting marketinginyogapants.com/Facebook, where you'll get to join that private Facebook group I've been talking so much about. There, you'll get to chat with our podcast guests. Yeah, they're in there too. And all of the other brilliant creative business owners. We're connecting, we're meeting our soul sisters, and we're building our businesses, all while in yoga pants. So come hang out with us. Again, visit marketinginyogapants.com/Facebook to get in. And one more thing. If you dig this podcast, would you be awesome and share it with someone? This entire Marketing in Yoga Pants movement is nothing without its community. So please share. And if you're really feeling the love right now, jump into iTunes. You're probably already there if you're listening to this right now. And leave us a rating and review. The more of those we rack up, the more the podcast will be found by ladies like you, and the stronger this community becomes. This episode was edited and produced by the Podcast Engineers. They're pretty great, so go find them at podcastengineers.com. This episode was also brought to you by my online marketing agency, Jam Marketing Group, and you can find us at jammarketinggroup.co. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you back here next week on the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. Love ya. Bye.